What's up, you guys? Joe Dobby here. I am now a Deck Out Gaming affiliate. Use Joe Dobbs Deck Out at checkout. Deck Out Gaming has tons of singles for Pokemon, Dragon Ball Super, and Digimon TCG, as well as One Piece. They now buy list as well, so don't hesitate to reach out, and they got your back. Really high customer service ratings. Thank you guys, and yeah, let's get to the video. What's up, YouTube? Joe Dobby here, back at it again with another video for you guys, and in this video I will be going over my Ultimate Cup format vaccine deck for the December tournaments. Now, I've only really applied to one Ultimate Cup for December and January of 2023, and they did update the rules, so it's like a block 3 format deck building. While there are no additional color restrictions, you can kind of go any color you want now, mix it up. Now, there are some card list blocks. So you can play Resurgence Booster and all the reprinted cards. You can play starter deck, you know, Dragon of Courage and Wolf of Friendship. So those are the ace cards, the War Greymon and Metal Garurumon. You can play BT14 and the BT14 Ace Survey Pack, limited card set, and box promotion O2 tutorial deck. And you can use store tournament cards of volume 11, and you can use Winter Pack Blast Ace, Tamer Party Pack version 1.0 and 2.0. So for these events, luckily websites like DigimonCard.app and DigimonCard.dev have a filter for deck building that is actually Ultimate Cup 2023 for December and January. So I used that to kind of build my own vaccine deck, and I tested it recently, actually, with a bunch of friends. Shout out to T-Mac, Marco, and Sylvain from my Ottawa crew. We were able to get some testing in as I was there for a work trip, and I am really happy with the results of this deck. It performed quite well into the Mirror, into Bloomlord, and into, if I'm not mistaken, Fenrir Lugamon as well. So we're just gonna dive right into this. This is the Ultimate Cup format for my yellow vaccine deck. First things first, we're running 4 copies of Yokomon. Yokomon is very good and synergizes quite well with, you know, TK, cards like Emissary of Hope, etc. Whenever you're recovering, you get to draw a card. And this is also great in the Magna Angemon Ace, because when you know, essentially counter, you get to recover one, and that'll lead to a draw one on your opponent's turn, which is pretty neat. I do like that. 1 copy of Lucemon, and there's a specific reason why I play just 1 copy of Lucemon. It's really because I run Digimon in my deck. I think Digimon is a very good card into the Ultimate Cup for multiple reasons, but the biggest reason is, you know, we'll go over that later. Right now, Lucemon is a 10k DP Digimon that recovers 1 on play. I just think it's very powerful, and when you've got 10 or more cards in your trash, you play it for 5, essentially. I'm running 4 copies of the new Patamon from BT14. This combos very well with Angemon and any vaccine Digimon that's level 4, essentially. At the start of your main phase, you can look at your security stack and Digivolve into a yellow card with vaccine trait amongst them. So all of my level 4s, spoiler alert, are vaccine type, and we're gonna go into them very briefly. But the cool thing about this is you then shuffle your security stack. So once you see the order that it's in, you're like, oh, sweet, whatever. Then you shuffle it, and then you can replace the Digivolution card, the card that you Digivolved with a vaccine trait from your hand and place it at the bottom of your security stack. So if you've got a bunch of Angemons, for example, and you don't want to necessarily, you know, pay the 2 to Digivolve into it, you want to Digivolve into another type of level 4, which I'll show you later on, you can throw those Angemons in there and replace that by Digivolving with a card from your security stack. Its Inheritable is very powerful as well. Once per turn, when a card is added to your security stack, gain 1 memory. So this deck revolves around, you know, adding cards to your security stack, using recover and all that, and that's really why I tried to manipulate the deck in a way that makes it shine in this way. Next, this is the reprinted Patamon, and this Patamon is really, really good, especially when you are trying to bait out the Magna Angemon Ace. If you're able to reduce the DP of your opponent's Digimon to 0, I know it's on your turn, so you can straight Digivolve into Magna Angemon and get all the benefits, but unfortunately, if it's on your opponent's turn and you're using counter, you're not gonna gain the memory, but that's totally fine. But you know, I just feel like it's just another Patamon that my Anjumons can Digivolve into, and its inherit effect isn't that bad, so good card. This is the spice of my deck. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have looked through the reprint format, the reprinted cards, I mean, and this Ultimate Cup format filter on these deck building websites, and have found Bulkmon. The biggest thing that I like about Bulkmon is that he's a 4-drop to hard play. 5k DP is, you know, on the mid side of things in terms of being deleted and DP reduced. It falls under the threshold of a lot of deletion, but ideally, if the deletion is a when attacking effect, what you want to do here to end your turn sometimes, if you want to stay in raising, is to slam the Bulkmon, and then on your opponent's turn when they attack, they can try to, you know, attempt to attack, and then all of a sudden you can counter ace into the Magna Anjumon for free, digivolving over the Bulkmon. And then once you have done that, you effectively have an 8k blocker that just recovered you one, and also was able to reduce the DP of your Digimon. So effectively, how this would play out is you can either have a Bulkmon in raising or a Bulkmon hard played out onto the field, and then your opponent would attack, etc. Trigger all when attacking effects, as long as your Bulkmon stays on the field, is not deleted, whatever, you can Digivolve into Magna Anjumon using counter timing, and then all of a sudden, once counter timing has kind of completed, you go into blocker timing. So now you can actually block if you have 3 or more security cards. And the biggest thing about Bulkmon is it's another vaccine Digimon. So when you raise your Patamon, you can actually go into Bulkmon and then threaten that entire play, and then get an Anjumon from your hand and then place it to the bottom of your security stack for the next Patamon that you want to bring up. So this is a really good card that I think is, if you are unaware of it, it's a card that you definitely want to try and test. I'm actually running it as a 4 of because I aggressively want to use the Magna Anjumon play. I can basically Digivolve into Seraphimon on my turn for 4 from a level 4 if I counter and go into Magna Anjumon and it's not dealt with, right? So I do like that. Another thing too is if your opponent's attacking typically with a Digimon that has Raid, for example, into Black Wargrey, whatever, not necessarily an Ultimate Cup format, but when you're thinking further out into things, if they go into Raid Wargreymon to play out a tie, they typically raid with like an 8k, 10k Metal Greymon. They'll try to raid over your Bulkmon, you counter time, go into Magna Anjumon. Hopefully you're at enough security to reduce that Metal Greymon's DP by X amount, and all of a sudden you don't even need to block at that point. You would just beat the Metal Greymon and then block the other Digimon that might want to swing that they might have, right? So just overall very powerful play. Next, 2 copies of the Unimon. I think I'm running 2 copies. Yes, 2 copies of Unimon. This is a big card to kind of counter cards that have, when attacking, delete a Digimon, so you're still able to use your counter timing. So for example, I've got a Unimon here that has Barrier, right? So Barrier, essentially, you trash the top card of your security, and in exchange, you prevent the deletion. So it's just another way, it's similar to Armor Purge, but you're sacrificing your security stack instead of taking the top card of your Digimon. Now, cool thing here, right? So let me paint you a scenario where Fenrir Lugomon will attack, delete the Unimon to unsuspend. If you use Barrier, you actually can't unsuspend because Fenrir Lugomon has to delete a Digimon to unsuspend, which means you trash the top card of your security, Unimon is prevented from deletion, and now you can actually counter and blast Digivolve into Magna Anjumon over Unimon. Now, when you've done that, you are potentially taking your Fenrir Lugomon away from lethal, and that is a very big counterplay, and Unimon being sticky on board is great against when attacking effects that want to delete your Digimon to gain a certain benefit, right? So if your Digimon, if someone tried to pierce over Unimon, you can prevent the deletion, and piercing does not happen, which is a really big deal. Next, it's also a 4-drop, which I love because I can hard play this like Bulkmon, and both Bulkmon and Unimon will have some shape of or form kind of value for the Magna Anjumon Ace setup, which is why I like the 6 copies between the 2. Now I'm only running 3 Anjumon here. Feel free to do 4 Anjumon, 3 Bulkmon, test it, see how your ratios are, but Anjumon is a very, very powerful card, don't get me wrong. But the reason why I like it at 3 is because, you know, its on deletion's great, but I can do that with Patamon. You know, I can place Angemon from my hand into the bottom of my security stack with Patamon's start of main phase if I Digivolve into either Bulkmon and Unimon. And I feel that I'll have even better value going into Bulkmon or Unimon from my security stack. So I want to see those cards a little bit more early on, and if I end up with Angemon in my hands, perfect. I can place it to the bottom of my security stack with Patamon's start of main phase. But his when attacking effects are great as well. My only issue is you're not hitting security at all. You're deleting your Digimon when attacking in order to do the thing. And I, you know, want to be able to basically only use this card in specific situations, or, you know, swing. It's 6k DP, so it's not too bad. And then if it lives, they'll probably swing over it, and then it ends up in your security stack anyway. So there's the value in that, but I don't know, 3 seems fine. I felt like when I was seeing too much of Angemon in my hands, I was like, oh, I don't really want to Evo into this. I'd rather see a Bulkmon or Unimon, that kind of thing. But yeah, to each his own. I think for now, 3 is good for this. The level 4s are, the level 5s are where I am struggling a little bit. So because I'm really running Unimon and Bulkmon, I want for Magna Angemon Ace. Now I know there's the overflow issue, you know, -3, whatever, yada yada, but I really like its effect, like on play when Digivolving, because if you put this over a Bulkmon and they only have 1 stack and you're able to block that stack, they lose their Digimon, and they really, unless they play hard removal, they're not really going to take out this Magna Angemon, so you're going to be up a Seraphimon next turn, potentially swinging for 2 checks, and you threaten deleting another thing that might drop with the Seraphimon Evo, right? So I really am playing into Magna Angemon Ace versus any other level 5, which is why I like the 4 of, and I don't mind the overflow at this point because I've already gained the value, and this is really powerful value. All of this, potentially removing a body through blocking as well, in addition to the recover one and a -DP, for an overflow 3 doesn't feel bad at all, especially if I'm doing it all for free on my opponent's turn. Big thing. Now, you see this Rise Greymon here. There's a bunch of other Rise Greymon that other people are testing. But I like this mainly for 2 reasons. One is the free play of Tamer. Sure, you don't get the on-play effects, but I don't really want to dive into my security so often with TKs and whatnot, and I don't really mind. What I just want to use for this when Digivolving effect is to get a memory setter on the field as early as I can. That's all I care about. Next, you also have the Inheritable. So the Inheritable is what really matters here. When you have 3 or more Tamers in play, and it's easy to get 2 Tamers fairly early, you know, and then when you get like a 3rd Tamer, it's very powerful. You get security attack +1. With Seraphimon's natural security attack +1 when you recover, it's not natural, but you have to like recover into it. You then get security attack +2. So then this deck all of a sudden becomes very, very aggressive. And with the Inheritables, when Seraphimon gets deleted, etc., it doesn't really matter at that point if you were only able to check 1 or 2. On average, you will be checking 2, unless you're really unlucky, which is a great deal. And if you check for the 3rd, that's even better. You're that much closer to game. But let me know in the comments if you think this Rise Greymon can be replaced with better options. I've scoped out a bunch of different cards. I've even tried, like, I don't know, there's just a bunch. There's a bunch. But I haven't tried enough apart from this Rise Greymon, so let me know in the comments. So level 6s, this Digimon is the other spice that I really like. On play and when Digivolving, you may place 1 Tamer card from your hand on top of your security stack. So just to let you guys know, I'm playing the Memory Setter TK, so that's perfect to put on top of my security stack. I'm also playing this new BT14 TK, which is another perfect card to have on my security stack, and Gennai. So Gennai is the spice that I will be diving into later. There is a specific interaction with Gennai that is great in the Ultimate Cup format, in my opinion, and I cannot wait to share that. But for now, those are your targets with Digimon. Digimon has no color restriction for its effect, which is awesome. And all turns when you play a Tamer, you may play a level 3 Digimon card from your hand without paying the cost. So what makes this awesome is all turns, right? So I like to hang on to this Lucimon when I have a Digimon, and then if a Tamer is hit, you know, from security, effectively, that Tamer is being played, right? Essentially, it gets play this card without paying its memory cost, so then Digimon can drop a secondary body, which is a very, very big deal. in this deck, because you know you're gonna be aggressive with Seraphimon, and then eventually you're gonna go into, you know, having that extra body could mean everything in terms of pushing the advantage for game. Now, 4 copies of Seraphimon, because this is your main kind of like big boy. This is the one that you really want to get into to kind of close out the match. Pairs very well with the Magna Angemon Ace, like you ace, recover 1, etc. When you go into Seraphimon here, when Digivolving, recover 1. So off the Digivolution, you get his All Turns effect, which is one of your opponent's Digimon get -7 KDP, and this Digimon gets security attack +1. Now, the reason why I play Lucemon is, you know, if I have Seraphimon and Digimon out, you know, and they hit a Tamer, I can play Lucemon, recover. Seraphimon will trigger once, -7 KDP on something, and that's a big deal. Now, that setup is not easy to do, so a more realistic scenario is you have Seraphimon, you keep your turn because of your TKs, you swing at security, 2 checks, etc. And then you end your turn playing either Unimon or Bulkmon. And then when they try to swing, as long as they're not deleting either of these Digimon and Seraphimon's on the board, you can blast into Magna Angemon, recover 1, and then his all turns would trigger on your opponent's turn once per turn, -7 KDP on something. And then with the Magna Angemon reduction and the Seraphimon all turns reduction, you are on average going to delete something that is 9 to 12 KDP. Unless they've really rushed you down and you've got like 1 security left in your life. But you recover, right? So even if you had 1, your minimum is 9k DP threshold, because it's -1k in the Magna Angemon per security in your stack, which is very good. Now, running 3 copies of the Memory TK, we're very familiar with this. This was reprinted. It's a memory setter, set it to 3, and then you basically grab a yellow card from your, grab any card, but you typically, it's all yellow besides Gennai. So you grab a yellow card from your security, and then you recover 1, shuffle, and you're good to go. Now, this is the new TK. By returning the top card of your security stack to your hand, so like kind of like the old Lopmon, you add it to your hand, you can place 1 yellow card with Vaccine. And once again, like, it's another way to get Bulkmon, Angemon, and all that in there. And that is something that I really, really like. When a card's added to your security stack, by suspending this Tamer, gain a memory. Now, this is on your turn, which means Seraphimon is effectively going to be a 3 cost. And between these 2 Tamers over here, between TK and between the BT14 TK, Seraphimon is a, you know, 3 cost plus 3 cost -1 for every other this TK that you have on the field, which is very nice. Now we're gonna go into the Gennai. So I've started to kind of convert people to try and Gennai in this deck. Shout out to Sylvain. On play, you may reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add 1 level 3 Digimon card and 1 non-white Tamer. So seeing 5 cards in your deck is a very big deal, you guys. And being able to pick up Lucemon, Patamon, and Patamon, right? And being able to pick up like either of these TKs is huge for Gennai, right? So essentially, if you have Gennai as your starting hand, you go into Patamon. If you're at 2 memory, because you're going second, whatever, you Digivolve into Patamon and Raising, you play Gennai, you see a level 3 that you can pick up, you see a TK that you can pick up, and then if you have the line next turn, you are likely going to be going into Rise Greymon. Once you go into Rise Greymon, you play the TK that you just got, and then boom, turn 2, you have a memory setter, a Gennai, and a level 5, right? So that's pretty ideal situation for a turn 2, and then you can kind of just play it out. But Gennai's opponent's turn effect is very powerful. When an opponent's level 5 or higher Digimon attacks, by suspending this Tamer, move 1 of your Digimon from the breeding area to the battle area. So this Ultimate Cup format will have a lot of ace cards. So your opponent's gonna declare attack, right? All when attacking effects will trigger, right? So there'll be maybe no target on the board. But what's safe is your Bulkmon. So you suspend the Gennai to raise Bulkmon, and then now you have counter timing because your opponent resolved all the when attacking stuff. Because this is interruptive. This is like after your opponent's finished, you know, declared an attack or attacks, you can suspend to raise Bulkmon. Now you're in counter timing. So now you counter time into Magna Angemon Ace, and then all of a sudden you have a recover 1, you have a safe raise, recover 1, minus DP, and what is now a blocker on average, you will be a blocker because you'll have 3 or more, security cards. Out of nowhere, because of the Gennai. Like it's like you're protecting your ace stack, and you're setting it up. And sometimes your opponent won't think about it, that you actually will end up with a 8k DP blocker that just recovered one on swing, and they were unable to interact with the level 4 and remove it, right? So that's a pretty big deal. And correct me on the timing if there are any tier 1 judges or 0 judges, but I am pretty sure that's how it works. Sorry for the rambling, I just wanted to be sure. Emissary of Hope. Search your security stack. One of your Digimon may digivolve into 1 yellow level 6 or lower Digimon card with vaccine. So if you don't have enough memory, you hold on to Emissary of Hope, and then if you place Seraphimon in your security stack, or you think it's in there, you could actually digivolve off the level 5 into a level 6 for 1, and if you've got a TK, you recover 1, which is absolutely insane. Its security effect is also like Night Raid, but strictly for Patamon, which I think is insane, and you add it to your hand. That is such an important, powerful effect, because not only do you get to play your bridge to a 4, 5, 6, whatever, by playing a level 3, but you also get to evo for free next turn. You're like almost guaranteeing at some point you will be able to evo for 1 cost, which is insane. Powerful card, I run 3 of. 3 Heaven's Knuckle. Surprisingly, this card plays very well. Activate one of the effects below. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6k DP for the turn. From security, it pairs very well with the counter timing. So if you recover into a Heaven's Knuckle and you are at 4 security, Magna Angemon will give a Digimon minus 4k, Heaven's Knuckle minus 6k, and boom, it's dead. Usually at 10k. Now if you can get to 12, even better, depending on how many cards you have in your security stack. But you can also delete one of your Angemon to place one of your opponent's Digimon at the bottom of their security stack. So this is something that you would trigger typically from your hand, the secondary effect, because that's when you time how, your opponent's already level 6, whatever, you can time raising into an Angemon or evoing into an Angemon and then playing Heaven's Knuckle to get rid of it. Sorry for the rambling again, but minus 6k DP for the turn is what I really like here, and it's only 4 cost, which is very powerful. You're feel free to sub this out for anything, by the way, if you have better removal, but right now in the Ultimate Cup format, I think this is the best yellow removal that we got. Yellow memory boost, good stuff. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add a yellow Digimon card. So I'm playing 2 yellow memory boosts and 2 physical training, and there's a specific reason why. I like being able to get more memory as opposed to reducing the cost of an Evo, because there will be times where, if I played the boost, if I use the delay to gain 2 memory, I can put my opponent to 1 by playing a TK, or I can put my opponent to 1. It's just more ways to play with the math, and this sees more Digimon. You see 4, right? While you can pick up anything with physical training, you only see 2. So I like the mix. And lastly, we have 1 copy of Holy Flame. This is kind of just a random tech card. You're free to kind of like sub this out for another Heaven's Knuckle, another removal, another consistency piece, etc. But this is essentially what I am playing around with so far. That is pretty much the deck. Yeah, so hopefully I was able to explain kind of like the combos between Gennai, Magna Angemon, and Bulkmon very well. Those interactions that really become the key turning point plays for the deck. And if you like the profile, let me know in the comments. Please feel free to like and subscribe. If I explained or interpreted any effects, let me know in the comments as well. That said, I think I'm pretty much good for the most part. But if I did make a mistake, let me know, and I will talk to my friends who are also judges, and we can, I can pin the comment that corrects that miscommunication for the rulings. But thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.